Jalaukasaha Purvam Manasa, by the mind, Eva, indeed, Asrijat, created, Purvam, in the beginning, Prajapati, the Prajapati Daksa, Imaha, these Prajaha, living entities, Deva, demigods, Asura, yes, Manusha Adin, and other living entities, headed by the human beings, Navaha, in the skies, Sthala, on the land, Jala, or within the water, Okasaha, who have their abodes. Now I will read a few verses because there are no purports, and we read till verse 23, which has a purport. So from 19 till 23, I will just read now. Translation. With his mind, Prajapati Daksa first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics, and so on. Text 20. But when Prajapati Daksa saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he approached a mountain near the Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerities. We were reading this already, yes. We read again. 21. Near that mountain was a very holy place named Aghamarshana. There Prajapati Daksa executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, by engaging in great austerities to please him. Text 22. My dear King, I shall fully explain to you the Hamsa Guya prayers which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers. That is one line purport. It is to be understood that the Hamsa Guya prayers were not composed by Daksha, but were existing in the Vedic literature. Now text 23. Prajapati Daksha said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy and the physical categories it produces. He possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and supreme willpower, and he is the controller of the living entities and the illusory energy. The conditioned souls who have accepted this material manifestation as everything cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of experimental knowledge. Self-evident and self-sufficient, he is not caused by any superior cause. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Purport. The transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained herewith. He is not perceivable by the conditioned souls who are accustomed to material vision and cannot understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in His abode, which is beyond that vision. Even if a materialistic person could count all the atoms in the universe, he will still be unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5:34. We can chant together this verse. Pantastu koti shadavatsara sampragamyo vayo atapi manaso muni pongavanam sopyasti yat prapadashimya vichintya tattve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The conditioned souls may try to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead for many billions of years through their mental speculative processes, traveling at the speed of the mind or the wind, but still the absolute truth will remain inconceivable to them, because a materialistic person cannot measure the length and breadth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's unlimited existence. If the absolute truth is beyond measurement, one may ask, how can one realize Him? The answer is given here by the word Swayambhuve. One may understand Him or not, but nevertheless, He is existing in His own spiritual potency. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Shakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Brahma Samhita. We can quickly read the translation of that particular verse. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman, by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. It's such a powerful verse. It is explained that related to these yogis or the jnanis, they might go on speculating for millions, even billions of years, or the yogis practicing the difficult pranayama process. And nowadays what people practice as yoga, this is not really yoga. It is Indian gymnastic. Yoga is something different. Like the pranayama process, kumbhaka, rechaka, you finally, by exercising pranayama, the whole point is you have to come to the point of stopping to breathe. In the Shiva Samhita, very detailed description given of the pranayama process. It is to be practiced early in the morning, noontime, evening, and midnight. To practice pranayama. And then the yogi, by practicing properly, also one has to strictly follow a particular diet, and one has to live, anyway we know the process, complicated process. And then the yogi, he will be able at one point to purify all the nadis in his body. And when the nadis are purified, then the yogi is able to, what is here being described, drilling the respiration. He can keep his breath. First for some minutes, later 1 hour, later 4 hours, later 14 hours, later 30 hours. And when he is able to keep his breath for that long, many, many hours, then he attains Vayu Siddhi. He is able to levitate. So in this way he progresses. A very difficult process. So such yogis are also difficult to approach. It is explained the effulgence emanating from the Lord. He explained if the Supreme Lord is so difficult to approach, so difficult to reach, to realize, then how is it possible? What's the process? So that's the question. What is the process? Mental jnana, very difficult. Yoga, very difficult. And how can he be approached? What is the process? Any suggestion? Yes, bhakti mam avijananti. Bhakti, that's the only process. The pure devotional service. There are a number of verses in the Bhagavad Gita. Number of verses, again and again explaining the importance of the process of bhakti. Bhaktim lapate param, another. Even these yogis, again yogis, they might come to the level of Brahman realization. What is that? Brahman. Yes. Again, you quote. Bhama Buddha Prasanatma na sochati na kanshati. No more lamentation, no more sukha, chasing after these mundane pleasures, everything stops. Brahman realization. Na sochati na kanshati, no lamentation, no hankering. Then only then on that platform, mad bhaktim labate param. Then they can approach the process of devotional service, bhakti. Mad bhaktim labate param. Then there's the other verse. By transcending the modes of material nature, one comes to the platform. What is that? Mam chayo pravicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatita brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that verse is meant for us. The other one, not possible for us. First attain Brahman realization, then approach bhakti. That is not meant for. But that verse, that is meant for us. Mam chayo bhakti yogena sevate. The first, we just begin practicing devotional service. And by steadily practicing devotional service, always chanting Hare Krishna, taking a lot prasadam. Like I remember in the beginning, I could not understand because I thought to practice bhakti yoga, it means austerity. We had this concept, yogis. And then the devotees told me, you have to eat a lot of prasadam. I said, well, why? I thought I have to eat little. Yoga, bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness means eating. No, you have to eat. Eat a lot. Because prasadam, none different from Krishna. That means Krishna, you take in, and then all the maya goes out. So we used to eat a lot. And then that when eating little, that will come in a natural way. Later, when you grow older, you cannot eat so much anymore. It will, no problem. It will come by its own accord. But beginning, we have to eat nice prasadam, so that the mind will not be distracted to other, not questionable foodstuffs. Everything has to be engaged in Krishna's service. Process of eating, we eat prasadam. Thinking, think of Krishna. Music, make music for Krishna. The Srila Prabhupada, he used to say this quite often. If you want to cook, cook for Krishna. If you want to paint, paint for him. That's the whole process. And we engage, connect everything with Krishna. Now, one important point is that if Krishna cannot be, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned, he cannot be seen, he is not perceivable by the senses of the conditioned soul. He cannot be understood even after billions of years of mental speculation, and he cannot be measured. Then how can we prove Lord Krishna's existence as an objective fact? How is it possible? Because people, they might ask you, now how can you prove Krishna's existence? You're quoting verses and so many things, but if Lord Krishna is really an objective fact, how can you prove it? So we will go a little bit through this exercise, now how to prove Lord Krishna's existence. Yes, Krishna can be seen because we have evidence. There's so many great devotees in the past. They have seen Krishna. Brahma Samhita again, Lord Brahma, he clearly describes Lord Krishna's transcendental form. That's the first argument, that so many have seen Krishna in the past. It is not that he cannot be seen at all. That presently we might not be able to see him, but others have seen him. That's the first argument. And then we can give the argument that why do generally people think that in order to prove the existence of something, you must be able to see it? They emphasize the importance of seeing. Seeing, that means proof. I can see it, then it exists. But then again, we can argue that there's so many things we cannot see. Like the atom, you cannot see the atom. Only in the cloud chamber, in the streaks of the atom, the atom itself you cannot see. Not possible. But does it mean the atom doesn't exist because I cannot see? There's so many planets in the universe I cannot see. Does it mean it doesn't exist? So that's the second argument. There's so many things. Why you overemphasize the process of seeing? Because many things we cannot see. I cannot see your mind, but does it mean you're mindless? You have no, you have no mind. You're crazy, just because I cannot see. I cannot see your intelligence. Does it mean you have no intelligence because I cannot see it? So many things we cannot see. Similarly, we cannot see Krishna, but that does not necessarily mean he doesn't exist just because people cannot see him. To demonstrate that Krishna's existence is as objective as any other object, we will have to define what we mean by objective. And then we have to go to the dictionary. In the dictionary it is explained, objective means it refers to a known or perceived object, as distinguished from something existing only in the mind of the subject. To say that something objectively exists means that it has its own independent existence and it is not produced of someone's imagination. That's the dictionary definition of an object. Objective existence. So this is exactly what Srila Prabhupada in the beginning explained in the purport, that Lord Krishna exists in his own spiritual potency. Exactly the point. It's amazing how Srila Prabhupada started the purport with such a strong argument related to the Webster's dictionary. What objective means. It has to exist in its own existence. This is exactly what Lord Krishna, he exists in his own spiritual abode, his own spiritual potency. But how can you prove Lord Krishna's existence? Now, someone might be persistent. You give so many explanations, but how can you really prove? Generally prove what I explained before for common people seeing. So that we explained already. Seeing is believing, they say. Seeing is believing. But actually we believe in so many things we don't see. We explained this. Like we read in a newspaper, somewhere there might be an earthquake. We listen to the radio. In the newspaper we read it and we believe it. You did not go there. You did not go and see yourself whether the earthquake really happened. You have believed. The newspaper, radio, authoritative sources of knowledge, you believe. Death is also an objective fact, but you did not experience your own death. You only noticed that others are dying. Your own death you did not experience. But you believe that you have to die. That means by extrapolation that we conclude. We experience, we draw a conclusion. What about the existence of an atom? Surely nobody would complain that knowledge of the atom is merely one's person's subjective belief. But can we show someone an atom? No. We can only print out a complicated equation, explanation of the atom, and you can read it. It is so complex, so complicated, that you don't even understand the meaning of it. But someone who is trained, who is educated, that computer printout of an atom, he can understand. And he concludes, yes, the atom exists. We accept as a fact the earthquake somewhere else exists without having seen it. We accept that we are going to die even though we haven't seen our own death. We accept the scientist's declaration that there are atoms even though we ourselves cannot experience the existence of an atom. So there's a process for understanding everything. And there's a process similarly to understand Krishna as well. There are authoritative sources of knowledge. We have our spiritual professors. They explained in very scientific ways the existence of Krishna. And Lord Krishna, of course, himself, we quoted that verse from the Bhagavad Gita, he explains himself how to understand him. That's, of course, most important for us. And Lord Krishna himself explains how people can understand him. And that's the process of devotional service. Otherwise, Krishna's existence is difficult to understand without the element of bhakti. There was this beautiful verse spoken by Lord Brahma after Lord Krishna stole away all the cowherd boys and calves. And when Brahma stole them away, Lord Krishna replaced them by his own mystical power. And Lord Brahma, he was so puzzled. Vishnu expansions of Krishna, super soul. And then he spoke that beautiful verse. Jananta eva janantu kim bahuktana me prabhu. That verse. Manaso vapasho vachu vaibhavam tava gocharaha. In that verse, Lord Krishna explained that let others claim that they understand you. But as far as I'm concerned, your opulences are beyond the reach, the scope of my body, my senses, my mind, and my words. That Lord Brahma spoke this verse. Our Vaishnava Acharyas, they comment on that verse and they explain that Lord Brahma, he could foresee Lord Krishna saying in a very sort of sarcastic way, "Oh Brahma," because Lord Brahma, he described in many verses, after feeling humiliated by Krishna, humbled by Krishna, he spoke many verses of glorification. He glorified Krishna. And then Lord Brahma, he could foresee that Krishna would speak to him in this way. "Oh Brahma, if this is all true, what you just described, then please tell me, how many wise philosophers are there like you who can so brilliantly explain everything about my transcendental form?" Verse with shame, fear, and repentance. The Brahma says, I'm of that category, I'm the greatest fool. So he spoke that verse. Jananta eva janantu kim bahuktana me prabhu. Then Krishna might protest. If that is so, then why have you spoken all these words? Then Lord Brahma replies, Kim bahuktya. That what is the use of all my words? Speaking too much in your presence, O Lord Krishna, is simply a sign of my foolishness. And then Krishna might reply, my dear Brahma, you are trying to cheat me with your words. And then Brahma might reply, although I have meditated on them, my mind has no power. Name prabho manaso. My mind has no power to understand your opulences. My eyes, vapusha, my eyes cannot grasp your transcendental form. And my words, vacho, my words cannot describe you. And then Lord Brahma continued, I have prayed that you make me a blade of grass in Vrindavan, in Gokul. Yet you have not responded even by so much as a glance. Therefore, what more shall I do standing here? It is better that I quickly go away. And then Lord Brahma, he begged Lord Krishna to take his leave. So now Lord Brahma, he is intelligence personified. He doesn't even possess a physical body. His entire body consists of pure intelligence. And he's speaking these words. So what to speak of ordinary people? They're so quick, challenging. Oh, if your Krishna really exists, how come I cannot see him? Even the president we cannot just order, I want to see you. Is it not? The president of your country, you cannot just call him up, hey, I want to see you. Who are you? Now all the presidents of all the worlds, all the Brahmas of all the universes, they worship Lord Krishna. Now how can we challenge Krishna? I cannot see you, therefore you don't exist. I don't believe. But still, Lord Krishna is approachable by someone who develops devotion to Krishna. That's the only qualification required. The devotion for Krishna. Patram pushpam palam thoyam. That if these items we offer to Krishna, or whatever we do for Krishna, chanting Krishna's holy name, that should be done with devotion. cooking for Krishna, that should be done with devotion. This is Lord Krishna's request. When we add to all our activities that element of devotion, bhakti, then Krishna is approachable. So that's the whole secret of success in Krishna consciousness, to develop bhakti, develop devotion for Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your patience. Are there any thoughts, any questions, comments? Yes. Acoustically, I could not hear you.
Like for example, when we preach to the people, we give, to prove the existence of Lord, we give so many examples, this and that also. But can we develop the real love for Lord, like, natural love for Lord, by all this logical understanding, this and that also? Okay, logically we convince them. Okay, they exist.
Can somebody...
I'm telling this really.
Huh? Yes, yeah. For whom? For one who explains or the listener? Huh? For us? I'm asking for whom? Aha. No, beginning is knowledge. Because if I don't know anything, how can I love it? If I don't know a person, you want to, like, in ordinary life, if you want to develop some love, some affection for a person, you have to know the person, something. Is it not? You have to know the name, some of the qualities, activities, you have to know something. And then there's a chance to gradually develop some affection, some love for a person. Just like these Bollywood movie stars. Why people have so much devotion and love for them? Because they know, they watch their movies and they know their names, they know what they're doing and everything, and then you become attached gradually, more and more and more and more. Same with Krishna. Knowledge, that's the beginning. We have to know something about Krishna. Krishna's names, Krishna's qualities, his form. What is that? Nama, Rupa, his Leela, his pastimes. Then his entourage, his spiritual abode. We have to know. And then attachment, affection, attraction. Beginning is attraction. You become attracted. Oh. Just like in ordinary society, if someone is very wealthy, you feel attracted. Is it not? If you see someone visiting our temple, very wealthy, very rich, everybody's looking, oh, there's some attraction is there because of that quality. Now Lord Krishna or someone might be very famous. People become attracted. These qualities are attractive. What is that? I'm looking for that verse. 6 opulences. Aishvayasa samargasa vyayasa yashashashviya. Sanam bhagan itingana. Aishvayasa samargasa vyayasa yashashashviya. Then Jnanam, Vairagya, all these 6 opulences, they exist in Lord Krishna in full, perfect, complete. So this is what we try to do. We give knowledge to people in general about these opulences of Krishna, these qualities of Krishna. Now we explain how great Krishna is, how he controls everything, he's the cause of all causes, etc., etc. We explain how famous Krishna is. Even after 5,000 years, still people talk about Bhagavad Gita, quote Bhagavad Gita. I mean, Krishna is very famous. And so on and so forth, all the other qualities. How renounced Krishna is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the personification of renunciation. How he renounced Sita. All these stories. We explain, we give all this knowledge so that people might become attracted to Krishna. And once they become attracted to Krishna, oh, Krishna, he's so beautiful. When we describe Lord Krishna's beauty, in this world everybody is attracted to Cupid, right? Love of God, the God of love. Everybody is attracted to Cupid. But when Cupid saw Krishna's transcendental form, then you know that story. He wanted to shoot his 5 arrows at Lord Krishna. He thought this is a perfect situation for me to shoot my arrows. Lord Krishna, young boy with the young girls. So he thought, perfect situation. He wanted to shoot his arrows. Looked at Krishna. He was so fascinated by Lord Krishna's beauty that he lost his consciousness. He fell backwards over. All his arrows scattered all over the floor. So Krishna is so beautiful. Simply that people might develop some attraction to Krishna. Once they become attracted to Krishna, that's the beginning of their journey home back to Krishna. Once they become attracted. So that's the point of knowledge. This is why we give knowledge. So people begin to understand who is Krishna. And then they hopefully become attracted to Krishna. Like that.
They have logical understanding. Like here in the scripture, Duryodhana used to know Krishna is the he whole whispers in Bhagavatam. And then here
No, but then they have to engage. That's important. We don't just give knowledge and then walk away. Then we have to engage them. We give all that knowledge so that they agree, yes, I also want to serve Krishna. I want to do some service for Krishna. This is why there's Patram Pushpan, that verse. How can I serve Krishna? I don't have anything. Well, offer flower to... See, Krishna is very intelligent in that verse. Patram Pushpam Phalam Thoyam. In that verse, Lord Krishna, Patram, what is it? Patram, like a leaf. Leaf, offer leaf to me. And then they might argue, it is winter time. In the Western countries, winter time, there are no leaves. Offer flower to me, again, same problem. Winter time, leaf. I'm very poor, I cannot buy flowers, too expensive. Then offer fruit, same problem. I'm very, very poor, I cannot go to the market, buy some fruit, too expensive again. Then at least offer some water. Then you cannot argue, water, I don't have any, then you die. You cannot argue, I'm too poor, I have no water. No water means you die. So Krishna is very intelligent. Flower not possible, okay, leaf not possible, okay, fruit not possible, water. So that everybody can do, you can offer some water to Krishna. But the problem, I think this is your point, the problem is this devotion. This is the problem. But it will develop. Devotion will develop, but we have to engage in service. Like many times we see people visiting the temple. They come visit. The devotion means now you bring something for Krishna. That is devotion. Then anybody can come and look and walk away. That's also nice, of course. But where's the bhakti devotion? You bring some flower. When you visit, you bring some flower, you offer. You bring some fruits, you offer. That is an act of devotion. Like I might tell you, I love you. Okay, nice. I love you. You expect something. Some little flower, some gift. I love you. Very good. And I love you. You expect some gift. This is why this verse. Now, if you claim that you love me, if you claim that you have devotion to me, then give me something. I'm too poor. At least water you can offer to Krishna. So then we give all this knowledge, they become attracted, and then we engage them in practical devotional service. The senses, Rupa Goswami explains, all, not just the mind or the words, the senses, the body, limbs of the body, everything has to be engaged in Krishna service. Not just the mind, jnana, or the words. Not sufficient. The entire body, all the senses, they have to be engaged in Krishna service. And this is sometimes we neglect or we overlook. We think to surrender to Krishna means knowledge. Study, quoting. What about your senses? Engage the rest of your body also in Krishna service. Cook for Krishna, clean the floor for Krishna. Huh? Very nice exercise. Especially when we think that we are great scholars. Good exercise. Clean the floor for Krishna. Clean the kitchen. Go to the bathroom. Clean them. This is very purifying. And by engaging all the senses in Krishna's service, then Krishna begins to reciprocate. That's the whole point. Your question was what about this bhakti, devotion, how? When Krishna begins to reciprocate, then the love for Krishna, Nita Siddha Krishna Prem Shatta Kaban, is already there. It's not something we have to artificially acquire from somewhere else. It's already there in the heart. When Krishna begins to reciprocate with the devotional service of his devotee, then that love for Krishna begins to reawaken. It's a question of reciprocation. The two-sided process. We render service to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. This is why it's so important, when you cultivate people, when you give Krishna consciousness to people, always endeavor to engage them in practical service. Don't just give knowledge and then walk away. Ask them, do some practical service. Come on, visit the temple, clean the floor for Krishna, help in the kitchen. Very, very important. Because then Krishna begins to reciprocate. Oh, such a sincere soul, cleaning my temple, helping to cook, helping to serve, so many different. Krishna reciprocates. And that will cause the devotion for Krishna to manifest more and more. Love for Krishna ultimately manifest more and more. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki